Hi there, I'm Rod Bergeron, and welcome back to another quick and easy watercolor painting. Today we're going to do something pretty quick and fast and loose. And we're going to work on a 140-pound piece of watercolor paper. And I'm using a big 3/4 inch brush here, 3/4 inch flat brush. And I'm going to put some blue across there. You use whatever blue you want. This is a specific Sennelier blue that's specific to watercolor landscapes. Okay, now I'm not going to rinse this brush out. I'm going to put this brush right into my Payne's gray here. I'm going to make some big trees off in the background here. So we want this to sort of bleed way up into the top part of the landscape. So you can put your brush strokes fairly high up here. And by brush strokes, I mean, you can see I'm tapping my brush onto the page, okay? So I'm gonna pick up some, this is some sienna, some burnt sienna. I'm gonna put some of that in there. I'm also gonna put some of this across here. It's spring here in Southern Ontario, and it's very mucky and very dirty out. So that's what I'm trying to capture right now. The trees have really just begun to grow, and that's sort of the feeling that I'm trying to capture. This brush I'm not going to rinse out, and I'm going to put right into my yellow ochre, and I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to pick this up a little bit more intensely and put some yellow ochre up in here. Now my hope is that I can scribe in some trees with this. This is my #1 round brush, and you can see I've sharpened the one point here. I just took a utility knife and sharpened that. And I'm gonna draw or scribe into this some trees. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. Just make myself some trees with some branches. Wherever it is that you think you want to put a tree, it's your painting, so you just do your own thing, okay? And then down across here, I'm going to put some more scribe marks in here, sort of like that. Okay, so we're going to grab a big brush again. We're going to grab a little bit more Payne's gray, slightly more intensely. We're going to put some of that across there. We're going to pick up a little bit more intensity again, and just build ourselves some undergrowth across there in a few places, and just let that, again, just let that bleed to wherever it is it's going to go to. Don't try to control it too much, okay? And like I said, this is a muddy field, so all across here is a very, very muddy looking sort of yellow ochre, but with some very dark spots in it. So I'm going to pick up as much yellow ochre as I can on this brush, and I'm going to make one pass and try to go from one side all the way to the other, okay? So very, very controlled all the way from one side to the other. And we got this little white spot right here, but that's okay. We just touch that a little bit. And there's a white line in there, but that's perfectly fine. Just leave that the way that it is, okay? So you can see that Payne's gray bled down into our field, and it's making our field a little bit sort of muddy. I'm just going to touch this harsh line that is this sienna. I'm just going to touch that across there a little bit and see if I can't get that to move a little bit for us. Now, here's something a little bit unconventional. I took this brush and I rinsed it off. I knocked most of the water off of it, and you can take a tissue and touch some water. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue, the same blue that I put into the sky. And I'm going to put that in a few places in our undergrowth there, and a few places across the front here. Okay, and we're just going to let that all bleed into those other colors. And hopefully we're going to get some good color mixing going on there. Now I'm going to go back to my scribe tool, and I'm going to scribe out of that blue a little bit. See if I can't create some more undergrowth for us. places like that. All right, I'm gonna drop a little bit of salt here. Okay, so here's my little bag of salt. Just gonna grab a couple of grains of salt, drop a couple across the top there, a couple across the top there, and a little bit across the bottom here, just like that. All right, now we need to just leave this to dry and see what happens. All right, let's have a look at this. So this salt has done some really interesting things for us here. And look at how this has bled up and created these wonderful trees in the background for us. And we have this little sort of muddy edge along our field here. And look at how this blue has created this visual interest across the front here. Same in here. Really interesting. I think this is a really interesting little painting, but I think there's more that we can do to it. And what I'm going to do to it is I'm going to add some black line with my Sharpie pen. And I think we can just maybe put a few trees in. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to start on the ground and work my way up the tree like this. And I'll try to zoom in here so you can see what it is that I'm doing. But essentially, I'm just trying to add some branches, add some mass to this tree by just sort of coming up from the bottom, coming out and creating some a thick sort of a trunk across here for us. And then I'm going to put in a few, blades of grass like that. And maybe I'll put in a few longer bits of grass across here and just add a little bit of visual interest up close. I think I'm going to put another tree here. And maybe another one here. We would call this a thicket where I live here in Canada. I don't know, maybe, what do you call it in your country? I'd love to know. But I'm always amazed at the different words that people use for a very similar object. All right, that's not too bad. And perhaps in the back here, we can put a few more trees or add some branches to some of these trees we scribed in earlier. Yeah, that's not too bad like that. All right, let's put our mat on here and see what we got. Yeah, I think that added some visual interest, especially across the front here and a little bit back in the back. Yeah, I like it. I'd like to know what you think of it. Let me know in the comment section. And if you're currently a subscriber, thanks a lot. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching today. If you ever have a question or a comment, please drop it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know where you're from. If you could leave me a comment and let me know where you're from, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you again next time.